This is for Edmund Griffiths. I've seen it, so now I believe it. And welcome to this winter wonderland. I'm not going to turn the camera on myself. I'm going to let you see everything around me. This is Oxford. It's January the 23rd, I think, 2021, and we have snow. We have snow. Oh my God, it's beautiful. It's really, I love this. I love snow. I love these kinds of scenes. And I think because basically it's so rare where I live. I mean, obviously not as rare as if I lived in the desert, something like that. But it's usually the climate of southern England is like really boring. You get like it's pretty much damp and wet the whole year round. The only way the seasons are pronounced really in southern England is that in summer you get a couple of weeks, maybe a couple of days particularly, maybe a couple of weeks if you're lucky, of really nice warm weather. And in winter you get a couple of weeks of cold weather maybe, and maybe a day or two of this every winter. And although usually most winters you get less than this. There's a good 1.5 inches of snow there, and this is under a tree as well. Look at that, just look at the snow on the tree, it's beautiful. Can't wait to see Slax's video for today. Yeah, you get like maybe much less than this, much less snow than this, and you get maybe just a day or two of it a year. Now I know if you go up north, like when I went to Newcastle, they tell me it's different. It is actually colder in winter there, and of course if you live in another country, say in Scandinavia or something, this is a regular thing. This is a regular scene. You get this all the time. I've actually started watching a YouTube channel called The Rail Cowgirl, and it's a Norwegian person does this, and it's a kind of Norwegian tradition to have these really long videos. And she's a train driver, and she puts a camera at the front of her cab every time she drives her train, and she records it and then puts it on her channel, and I've been watching it. And you may think, oh, it gets boring watching a 10-hour video of a train journey. And no, but you see, I always put on something in the background, a radio show or something I listen to while I'm watching it. But she drives a train through the valleys and the fjords of Norway. And the winter ones are best because you get scenery like this all everywhere. It's all the time. In some parts of Norway, it's like this the whole winter through. But like I said, I think I love the snow so much because it is a rare treat. We haven't had snow like this, probably snow this deep I've not seen for about 3-4 years. Look at that. I'm going to get into the nature bit in a minute, and in the natural area where there's the parks and there's the woods and the river. I'm actually at work at the moment. I mean, it's the only chance I get to go out, so I'm filming my winter wonderland video at work. I've actually got earphones. I've got some earphones which I haven't listened to yet because I just love the sound of the snow. I love the sound of my feet crunching through it. I love the way it changes the acoustics of everything around us. It's like the noise of car engines and the wind and birds. The whole sonic landscape of the world is changed. I'm getting poetic now, aren't I? It's like it deadens everything. It acts like kind of acoustic deadening, like you get, like old Miles has in his studio. Look at those trees, man! Oh my God, this is orgasmic. It really is. It's still falling a little bit. Actually, it's falling. Well, it's stopped now. It's almost stopped, but it was falling quite heavily a little while ago. And we had like little just specks of snow, and you get like there's different kinds of snow. There's like little bits of specks of snow, and there's like big lumpy bits of snow where the different flakes are clumped together into like big bits of cotton wool dropping from the sky. It looks like. That's I sound like Forrest Gump, don't I? It's a little. If Forrest Gump was in the snow, he'd say it's a little bit of stinging snow and big old fat snow. people are playing snowball fights, and everyone's happy. It's like, I mean, you'll know if you read my books. In fact, if you read Roswell Revealed, you'll know that I have this scene in it where I just spent an entire page describing the snow. The landscape was upholstered with snow, and cars were leaving chocolate lines. And I can't remember exactly what I said, but you know, I actually spent an entire page simply describing the scene. I'm sure if I was with Penguin or something, the editor would make me cut that out. But because I'm self-published, I can just do what I want. I can publish whatever I like. It's another advantage to being self-published. You don't have some bloody editor wanting to get rid of all your best bits, so the book can be only 40 pages long. Oh, look at the doggy there. Snowmen appearing, as you can see. Well, that's a kind of snow. That's like a kind of snow alien, really, isn't it? And it seems kind of fitting, I'd say, that it's appeared now, because this has been a pretty miserable week. Morning. Hello. That's just a little kid who's about 4 years old. You've probably never seen this sort of thing before. It is like, as you know from if you watch my other uploads this week, it's been a bloody miserable time. It really has. It's been a horrible week, and look at that tunnel of snowy trees. Yay! It's been a miserable week, and this is just the perfect thing to cheer me up after a bloody horrible, miserable few days. This has been one of the worst weeks for years. And, you know, as you know from my last few videos, I'm really beginning to feel doubts over whether this mission that I've dedicated my life to can be achieved. For real doubts. I mean, I know they'll go away. I know they say, Ben, don't lose hope, and I'm trying not to. I really am. But things look pretty bad at the moment in the world. As you say, keep a stiff upper lip. I follow my own advice, but just look at this. This is just lovely. That's the meadow that belongs to. That meadow I think belongs to one of the colleges. You'll see in a minute. You'll see the sign in a minute. I can't remember which one. But just look at that. I can't wait. And my jobs today, luckily, are all dog walking, so I get to enjoy this fully. I mean, forget Boris's one a day. I can just spend like 3 hours out here because I'm like working. I mean, can you imagine how lucky I am? This is the job I've got, guys. I get to go out in the snow. I've seen lots of kids with sledges. You get like these wooden sledges with metal runners, and you have like these plastic injection mold plastic sledges in bright garish colours. Every family in Oxford has a sledge. If you've got kids, will have a sledge. They'll keep it in their garden. They'll keep it in like a shed or something. And it hardly ever sees the light of day, except maybe once every 3 or 4 years when you get as much snow as this. And then you get the sledge out and they go to wherever there's a hill, they get the sledge out and they have great fun going down the hills. I used to do this a lot, I mean, when I was a kid, because, well, I was lucky because I was actually a little kid in the, I'm aging myself here, I was actually a little kid in when Mount St Helens blew up, and that led to, basically there was like a global cooling for about 5 years. It led to the entire world cooling down. Hello. Hello. And look at the doggies there. The doggies are going to love this. The doggies I walk are going to love it too. And so it was like this, like we had loads of snow over that time. I mean, between about, it was, well, you know, it was about early 80s when I was a little kid. Yeah, I'm that old. I used to go sledging down the hills. We went out of school sledging down the hills. Oh yeah, great days, guys, great days. Now, I won't kid you, so my childhood was bloody miserable, but that makes it more fun when you see, when you have these bits of joy. These things cheer you up, you know. So I remember all the happy times when I was a kid, because there was a lot of sad times when I was a kid, a lot of really sad times. And so when the good times come along, and you get this thing. Oh, it's just absolutely lovely. There's a lady who lives up here actually. I haven't seen her for a while actually, but I got the hots for her a bit. Her name's Faye. She's an old lady. Yeah, I know, she's old, but she's really gorgeous. I haven't seen her for a while. I'll see if I'll challenge her to a snow wrestle, shall I? Oh. Look, I'm nearly at where my first job starts. But, yeah, I was saying to someone on Twitter the other day, there's this skeptic I know on Twitter. And, you know, as I've said before, you know, I don't have a problem with skeptics. I just have a problem with skeptics who are dickheads. And this is a skeptic who's not a dickhead. And I tweeted, he was tweeting about the snow. If you follow me on Twitter, you might have seen this conversation. And I said, there's going to be snow tomorrow. Look at the weather forecast. I said, I'll believe it when I see it. Because they're always forecasting snow, which never turns up. And, I said, I'll believe it when I see it. And he said, Ben, I knew you were skeptic about something. I knew you were skeptical about something. Well, I've seen it now, and I believe it. Oh wow! Anyway, my next job's coming up. My second job of the day, and I've only got 4. But I did some shopping for someone just now before I started filming. That's my first job. All the rest of my jobs today are walking doggies. I've got to walk 3 doggies. So yes, this is my job, guys. Yeah, I know you're burning with envy now, aren't you? This is my job. I do this for a living. I go out like this, and I enjoy the snow, and do a very low stress job, and get paid for it. And I get paid for it. People give me money to do that. They give me money to do something that I'll be quite happy to pay money myself for the pleasure of doing. You know, look upon me and weep. Look at that. Look, oh, that's lovely, isn't it? Yeah, it's not all right. It's not as exciting. It doesn't have the excitement. It doesn't have the thrill. It doesn't have the crack, the camaraderie, and all that sort of thing of hospital portering. It doesn't have that, and I do miss that a bit. Not as much as I thought I would, but it does. It's low stress, and you get to enjoy things like this. So I better get on with my work. Better get on with it. If I want people to pay me, I'm gonna have to do the job. See you later. That's lovely. It's unblemished snow. There's a bit of a building site in there right now. As you see, they're trying to. There's plans to build on these fields. It's bloody awful. I'll show you the sign in a minute. There's my doggy friend there. I don't know if you find yourself doing this, but I do it. When I'm walking along when snowy weather, I tend to step where all the other footprints are. So if there's a row of footprints, I'll step on them rather than morning. Rather than I'll step on those rather than just tread out on the virgin snow that hasn't been stepped on yet. And there's good practical reasons for that. For instance, one of the practical reasons is it's easier to walk where there's footprints already because the snow's packed down, and you can look at that. There's sometimes deer in those fields. The snow's packed down, and you can walk more easily. You're not going to trip over. You don't have to trudge so much. But the real reason I do it, I must say, is because I just don't want to ruin it. I don't want to ruin the flat, unblemished expanse of snow. Look, you see, save the fields. Iflywoods.com. See, there's the notice here. It's pause and read in the best traditions. But somebody's planning to build on this. Build houses which no one will be able to afford. Jesus, it's like all the other places, all the brownfield sites they could choose, they have to put it here, where there's deer and there's badgers and there's rare flowers. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. Some idiot keeps coming along here and scrawling on that sign, oh, NIMBY dissembling. Dissembling, I had to look that in the dictionary. It means hiding your true motives. Bollocks. Bollocks, this could be anywhere. This got nothing to do with NIMBY or anything like that. This person, incidentally, won't ever come up and confront anyone. They just put silly graffiti in places, like idiots. They put a graffiti, you know, where no one else is looking. That's what internet trolls do. Okay, that is a picture, old English picture postcard, isn't it? This is Iffley, which is, it's called the village. People call it the village. It is like a village. It used to be one, but it's been swallowed up as Oxford has expanded over the last couple of centuries. And I work a lot around here, and I love it. I love this place. Don't live here, could never afford to live here, but it's just such a beautiful spot. Look at that. You can just see with the car tyres just pack it all down. I think it's actually melting slightly. I can't really tell. There's a good old English post office there, look. Yeah. The community shop is there. The Prince of Wales pub. Yeah, this is... Americans think we all live in places like this, and we don't, but it's nice when the places like this do still exist in this globalist dystopia that's emerging out of the chaos. It hasn't emerged enough yet to destroy this. Look at that, that's like the chocolate river in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, isn't it? That's what it looks like, surrounded by all this white. It's the weir, you see, it's the weir over the River Isis. I thought there's Iffley Lock, which you might have seen on my St Helena videos. I think I've done 2 St Helena videos on Iffley Lock. In the summer, it's a bit different this time of year. Morning. There's so many people here, it's like everyone, it's like this is a weekday. No, so no, it's not, it's Sunday. So of course there's going to be lots of people, it's Sunday. Silly me. That's what the coronavirus does to you, doesn't it? You lose track of the bloody week. But they're all down here to take photos. They're taking photos. I think some people are taking moving pictures like me. And you can see, look, they're having fun. It's just, I'm in heaven. It's like, I'm in heaven. I'm in heaven. And this is like that. I suppose, like, if I was the rail cowgirl. Actually, no, you see, because like I was about to say that everyone kind of takes, if you live in a country where this is like regular thing, people just learn to take it for granted, and they lose the wonder and the joy of it all because it's just abundance, you know. And it's because it's a rare treat here. It looks so nice. It seems that way to us because it's quite rare, like I said. But the rail cowgirl, actually, of course, all winter in Norway is like this, and colder and snowier than this. But she often puts on her autumn videos, hey, snow soon, hooray! She gets the same feeling of joy out of the snow that I do, and it's even though she lives in a country where it's not a rare treat, it's something that everyone gets all the time. There's the Chocolate River. That's the River Isis there, going flows through Oxford. The Thames, as it's known everywhere else. It's very fast. I wouldn't try swimming in that today. Believe it or not, there's a lady actually, she lives nearby, and she comes down here most days and she swims. She swims in this river. She did at the start of the summer, and now she comes down here and all year round swims. I sometimes see her. And here's the boats. That another classic feature of Oxford is the residential boats. There's boats all up this river, people live in them. Some of them are in quite poor condition, actually. But look, the snow is not quite high enough to cover the tall grass on that little meadow there. Excalibur. The name of that boat is the sword of the true King of England, King Arthur. It's said that King Arthur will one day come back when England needs him. Well, if he's not back now, if we don't need him now, when are we going to need him, for goodness sake? I mean, come on, Arthur. If this is not an hour of need for our country, then what isn't? Then what is? So come on, Arthur, get out your grave, get your sword on, come and give us a hand, mate. Now some of these boats are in really poor condition. This one here is really old. It's a lovely museum piece, I'd say, but I don't think anyone lives in this. But look, it's called Property of Titanic, White Star Line. Do you see that? White Star Line. I think they've called this boat the Titanic, and I think that's ironic, obviously, because it's so old. It's probably going to end up the same way, just like this one has. Look, dearie me, that's certainly deep six. That one, isn't it? It's not quite as deep as the Titanic. Someone will come along and raise it at one point, but that went underwater in the autumn floods. You see, look at the fender. It's got one fender just bobbing away with some snow on. It's funny, because one of my favourite books actually is The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe by C.S. Lewis. Of course, it's the first of the Chronicles of Narnia, if you don't include the prequel, which was written later. There's actually 7 of those books. I've read them all. I love them all. But if you just read one out of that series, read the first one, The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, and it's like, the thing about that book is it's about it's a story of the apocalypse, basically, in an imaginary world called Narnia. And when 4 children from our world find their way into Narnia, Narnia's like this. It's like a winter wonderland. Let me show you the graffiti. There's some amazing graffiti on this bridge. You know, I love the graffiti. Look at that there. That's actually unfinished, but I'm looking forward to seeing that when that's done. But get a load of that. That is incredible. Clown World, illustrated by Mr. Clown. What? Look at that. That's unbelievable. And here you have a winged psycho. Here you have a winged humanoid. And these other, some of this cruder graffiti along here. Look at that over there. There's some amazing stuff. I've showed you this in a previous film, haven't I? I've been here before. As I say, Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, it's a story of the apocalypse. Amazing face there. It's like a hentai face, or an anime face. The story of the apocalypse is that basically the 4 children from our world find themselves in this parallel universe, and it's like this. It's winter. It's always winter, but never Christmas. And that's because it's ruled by an evil witch. And so in that case, winter is symbolised as the evil world. Now what happens in the course of the story is spring breaks, because there's the great lion Aslan, who's the force of good in the story, comes into the world, and it's rather like the Lion Man. I wonder if I think that may be when Neil Geddes Ward, what's his name? Neil Haig. Neil Haig got the idea for the Lion Man in his own illustrations. If you're familiar with Neil Haig, brilliant artist, brilliant conspiratorial, spiritual artist. And in the Winter Wonderland, of course, symbolises the rule of the witch, and the witch is unseated from power when the winter ends, when the lion Aslan comes into the world. And it turns out the 4 children are destined to be the kings and queens of Narnia. Children from our world. Aliens, in other words. Interdimensional beings. And it's just like but then spring breaking is a symbol of the end of the evil, and the rise of the new world, the new golden age. And I think maybe if we're in that position, it's almost like the other way around. For me, this snow symbolises the opposite. The horrors and misery of the conformist world and the New World Order, which have been absolutely exemplified by the events of this week. Just a couple of days ago, as you know from my previous uploads, something happened which just illustrates and underlines and reinforces everything that's bad about the current world, about Illuminati rule. And then spring doesn't break, winter does. Amazing juxtaposition, or what's the word? I was trying to think of the word triumvirate the other day, but it's duopoly, duocracy. I'm revisiting an old video now, so I'm rambling.
Now, I didn't intend to do any studio work at all for this particular video. It was going to be just me and the world around me, and it was going to be lovely and everything. But there's something I want to add on to what I said about The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. I don't want to post any spoilers because it's really very, very special. It's a very special element of the story, but it's an emotional roller coaster. You go up and down, and there is a point in the story where you really think all the bad guys have won. It just seems like they've won everything, and the good guys are defeated. It's just all over, and then something happens that completely turns the story around, and it just goes to show it's like we're kind of in that world right now. It's like everything's gone, and the scene of defeat in Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, it's extraordinarily poignant writing. I mean, the way it's portrayed, you could always feel like you're there. It's very, very good descriptive prose that Lewis puts into that scene, and then suddenly it all goes right again, and you know, maybe that's what's going to happen this time. So this is why we shouldn't despair. I've done a Herpanwo show, actually. It'll probably be, by the time you watch it, it may actually be, the podcast might be up, called Do Not Despair, and I think we should not despair.
I think you can see actually the snow is starting to melt already. It's about midday now. The snow's starting to melt in this rather Slaxerian, Slaxer-esque type of shot that I'm giving you here. I remember in my book Rockall, my novel, my second novel Rockall, it's good actually, it's the best thing I did in my early period. I described a scene of snow falling on this island of Rockall where the heroes all live, and then I describe it melting afterwards with typical Rockallian abruptness. I remember that line, and it sort of symbolises the moods of the mood swings of the main character. One of the main characters is called Dill, who's a guy who's kind of manic depressive, and the joy he feels when the snow falls, and the abrupt change of weather, and the amazing and then his mood just like collapses into depression again, and that's kind of symbolic of. I use the snow to symbolise that in that novel. And this is not a plug, by the way. Unlike the Roswell books, this is not a plug for my book, because you can get it for free online. Yes, it came out as a book in 2004, and it's out of print now. If you want to read it, go to herpanwo-bb.blogspot.co.uk. You'll find my blog Ben's Bookcase, and it's all on there for free. You can read the whole thing for nothing. And if you want to cut and paste it and print it off, that's fine. It's actually, the second edition is actually better than the first, so do that rather than hunting down some old £35.99 copy from some wholesaler. Alright, so do read the second edition for free rather than get the book if there's any left around. Yeah, so that's kind of what Snow has been like for me. I think I'm rather like that character Dill. I'm similar to him in many ways. It's almost like, not quite, but almost like inserting myself into the story. Unlike, there are no characters in the Roswell's trilogy that are like me. I'm not putting myself in the story there in any way. Okay, nearly home now for the little doggy. This is just lovely, isn't it? Somehow we've got to get up this hill now, and it's slippery. It's slipping really badly actually. I'm kind of like, you see it's all packed down, it's icy. There's someone there, you see, clearing the snow off. I might slide all the way back down this hill before I get the doggy home. Okay, I'm out walking my last doggy of the day. It's about 1 o'clock, and then that's all the work I get these days. And I think most people are in this state now in the lockdown, but I do at least 7 days a week. There's some more people playing in the meadow over there, and wow, you can see distinctly now there's a thaw. Those trees are now, it's thawing quite quickly actually. The temperature's risen, and you can hear it. You can hear the patter of rain as the snow melts. You know, I don't know if this could well be, it's quite likely to be the last time this winter we'll get a scene like this, but you know, just once is enough. It's made me happy. You can't ask for more than that. I mean, it's like I said, it's been about 4 years since we last had snow that deep, that thick, and I've loved every minute of it. and I look forward to when it happens again. Now, I'm sure some of you I can already hear the sound of fingers on keyboards as people rush to be the first to put into the comments section on this video. Ben, you predicted we'd have a warm, wet winter with no snow. What's happened? Correct, I did, and I was wrong. Why was I wrong? Well, I think it's quite likely that COP26 has been cancelled. So, COP26 in November is now not going to happen. Otherwise, we would have had that. And what's more, we would have had a very, very hot, dry summer. It's possible they'll change their minds and we will have a hot, dry summer, but if they made that decision now, it's probably going to stay that way. Unless for some reason the geoengineering failed or it wasn't done. There's all kinds of permutations when you're dealing with the unknown. It's like the Q stuff, you know, it's all... We're trying to peek through a muddy pond to the bottom. We're trying to gather what the shape of the object is through distorted glass. It doesn't mean there's nothing there. It's just hard to discern it. And now that is the river Isis there again. There's a lump of something flowing downstream. Is that a lump of ice? What is that? I can't really see what that is. There's some more residential boats over there, you see. And it's really... See, this probably in the next few hours this snow will gradually thin out and it'll be gone. And so, but you know, it happened. We had it. We had the snow. I had the snow that makes me happy. I can't ask for more than that. Well, there's melted snow for you. There's some graffiti. Someone, oh yeah, I don't know what that means. This is tribute, RIP, a tribute. There's something in Russian, I think. It's a Cyrillic script, anyway. Which you may be able to read, you may be able to not. Over there, I've shown you this before, where there's a tribute to Hussein, who was a 21-year-old student here, who was a rower, and he died very suddenly of a heart attack. It turns out he had like a tumour or something on his heart. Very rare disease, which there's no symptoms, you just dropped dead one day. Poor young chap. Yep, the snow is definitely melting big time now. Shame. You can see like there's a very fast thaw now. You can see these little pillow blocks of snow sliding down car windscreens. The snow is now on borrowed time. Probably will not last to this evening. And if it doesn't freeze tonight, then maybe a little bit might save better tomorrow. If it doesn't freeze tonight, then it'll be gone by the morning. If it does, then a bit of it might be preserved. It'll be horrible, crusty, vitrified snow, which is not as nice as the fresh snow. So, yeah. That was nice while it lasted. There's a new piece of graffiti I've just found. A new mural. It's wonderful. If you want to find it, it's on the junction of Catherine Street and Percy Street. And look, I don't think it's finished actually, because you can see there's what looks like a planet. I think that's Mars. There's a rocket going up to it, as if rockets never take people to Mars. Anti-gravity machines will. Yeah, but never mind. It's still a wonderful picture, and you can just see the outline of an astronaut. I don't think it's finished yet. What I'll have to do is come back here and get a photo of it maybe when it's finished. But that's amazing. So thank you to these graffiti artists who brighten everything up for us. To all of them, all the artists who've produced the graffiti that I've shown you today and the murals. Thank you very much for doing that. It's really much appreciated. And you brighten this place up. You brighten our lives up, and you brighten the cities and the rivers and everything else up. So thank you on these old, horrible, brutalist things like the bridge, which carries for the bypass bridge. So thank you very much. Yeah, the snow's almost gone now. I should point out, actually, this is not the first snow we've had this year. We actually had a little bit more, and we had a couple. It was actually on the 7th of January, a couple of weeks ago. We had snow, so just a light covering, not much, but it seemed symbolic considering that was the day after those awful scenes at the US Capitol. So it did seem again like some kind of angelic intervention. It just felt that way. See, the sun's now trying to come out now. You can see, like, if the sun comes out when it's snowing, you need dark glasses like skiers. I I had to do that once. I've only ever had to do that once in this country. Lots of bright sunshine and snow. It's very rare indeed. But the snow won't be here much longer. It's definitely thawing fast. It's going to be gone in no time. But it's like crop circles, you know, like, what's it Michael Glickman said? He said they don't become sacred cows, they're just temporary and then they're gone. And if people are lucky, they get some photos of them, or Matthew Williams gets his drone out and he gets some good aerial shots, and then they're just gone. But they have their magic is in their tenuousness, their transience, and snow is like that. Unless you live in a country, I suppose you'd have to go really far north, up into the polar regions, to find a place where it's continuously snowy and icy. But in the temperate zone, especially where I am, it doesn't happen that often. You just get rain. England is famous for its rain, and it's true, you know, it's true. You just get rain most of the time. It does snow, and then it gets a bit milder. Then you get rain again. Then it dries up. Get a bit of hot sunshine, and then if you're lucky, you get some snow and ice. It's like wow. It still looks nice though. I've got one more job to do, then I've got to go home, and I should get home just in time for the Mindset podcast, which I'll be on. I'll be doing the Mindset podcast. So if you want a bit more of me, go to mindsetcentral.com, and you can hear the show I do most weeks with Gareth Davis and several other people, et al. And oh wow, it's like it's really, really pleasant. So I just I woke up this morning and I don't get much of a view from my window. It's just like it opens onto like some steps leading down to an alleyway, and I couldn't see much, and I just thought it looks a bit bright. It looks a bit different out there this morning, and then I didn't think much at the time. And I went up to the front door, opened it, and wow! And I thought I almost went straight out just to enjoy it. And then I thought, no, get my camera. I'll go back and get my camera. And luckily there was enough charge on the battery. I should keep it fully charged all times, actually, just for moments like this when I suddenly decide to just grab it. And I'm glad I did. I hope you enjoyed this little winter wonderland tour on this Sunday morning in Oxford 2021. I've certainly enjoyed taking part in it, and I do hope this will not be the last time that I can enjoy this kind of scenery. So thank you very much for watching. Take care.